Good morning. I am leaving the town of Williamstown and heading back into the woods, and I'll be entering the state of Vermont today, Lord willing. As I enter the trail again on day 24 after a pit stop in Williamstown, I'm greeted with this beautiful mountain stream. One of my all-time favorite things. Just loved to play in these streams as a child, looking for crayfish and salamanders and looking under rocks. It was one of my favorite all-time activities, hanging out at these mountain streams. I'm coming out of Williamstown. Spent a day and a half there, and Marcus Aurelius in the past said comfort is the worst addiction. I can see that after spending a day and a half in Williamstown, eating a lot of food, laying in the bed, watching TV, those things. And I feel slow this morning, I feel sluggish, and I'm a little bit concerned about going back home because of comfort. When you're out in the woods, when you're out hiking, you're uncomfortable, but it's a good uncomfortable. It keeps you moving and it keeps you on edge a bit. So I just have to watch things very closely when I get back and have a system in place and some structure to make sure I don't get too comfortable. Well, I guess it's time to say goodbye to Massachusetts. It's definitely been a beautiful state. I highly recommend it. Started off with a climb of Mount Everett, and then it took me on a ridge called the Races, and it was on the edge of the ridge and beautiful views for miles, and then beautiful countryside and hiking, and then the climb up Mount Greylock. And now I finish the state of Massachusetts by hiking along this beautiful stream. So Massachusetts definitely brought the beauty, and I really value this state. It took about a mile for me to shake off the sluggishness of being in Williamstown. I'm starting to wake up, I'm starting to feel good. So this signals to me when I get back home that climbing and hiking should be an essential ingredient for me on a daily basis. Look at this. This is just a spring coming straight out of the earth. This is the source. The spring starts here. It's just coming out of the earth, and then it forms a little stream. So I'm definitely going to drink. As you can see, there's no stream up ahead. It's just coming out of the earth here. Really cool. I just met a girl hiking the long trail, and she's just finishing it. This is the ending point right here in Williamstown. And up ahead, she said there's some ledges that are slippery and wet, and she fell. She was safe the entire trip. She's been out for a whole month, and on the last leg here, she was going down these ledges and fell and busted up her hand, maybe broke her finger. But her trail name again is Flip, and because she only carries a flip phone, which is really cool. And it was like 5 years ago, she says, she just stopped using a smartphone, went to the flip phone, and just said she doesn't want to be on her phone all the time. She wants to have her own thoughts and not be controlled by algorithms. So that's pretty cool. She's a literature teacher from Montana, and she's married, and she's moving back to Montana to be close to her family, and wants to start a family. So pretty cool. That was a steep, rocky climb up. So I could imagine going down, how slippery and tricky it is going down this. It's a lot steeper than it looks. So this is the section that she fell. "1.3 miles until I make it to Vermont. New York to Vermont was my trip." Here is another mountain spring coming right out of the earth. You can see it's coming out of this hole here. You can see up above there's no stream at all. It's just coming out right here and flowing down the mountain.
I was listening to AWOL,
Yeah.
Appalachian Trail. Have you read?
Good morning, everybody. This is Steady A. This is my last day on the trail for this comeback adventure. It's been a great adventure. I've lost a lot of weight. I've gotten in shape. I can do 15-mile days now. And this last day, I'm going to hike 9 miles into the town of Bennington. So part of me wants to keep going and just hike all the way to Maine and do the 100 miles of wilderness and then finish at Katahdin. Part of me wants to get off and get back with my everyday life. But I have to get back to work next Monday. Today is Thursday, so got a few days to transition and then back to everyday life. One of my favorite things to do every morning is to find a sunny spot and just bask in the sun for 10 to 15 minutes. Evidently, it's very good for you to bask in the sun in the morning. I've been seeing these little guys all along the trail. Little salamanders. I met a couple cool guys at the previous shelter. One guy was 52. His trail name is Fancy Feet because he trips a lot on the trail. And he is a thru hiker, hiking from Georgia to Maine, and he's hiked about 1,500 miles now. And he has 600 more, and he has a foot problem now. So he's slowing down a bit and pacing himself. And then I met another guy, the Spaniard, and last year he did the Pacific Coast Trail, and he did about 1,500 miles, and then he had a foot problem on the PCT and had to get off. So then he decided to come do the Appalachian Trail this year, and he's hiking in sandals, and everything was good for 1,500 miles, and now he's having the same foot problem again, and so he has to take a couple 0 days in order to recuperate. But nice guys, definitely guys I would hike with if I was doing the thru-hike. There's definitely a social component to the Appalachian Trail. You meet a lot of cool people and you get to know them, and we built a fire last night and had dinner together and just chatted. It's very nice. It's nice to get to know people from all over the world. So this component of the comeback is almost over. This is my last day on the trail, and this part of the comeback was a success. I was able to go from hiking a half mile before I started this comeback to be able to hike 15 miles with a backpack up and down mountains. So I've gotten a lot stronger. My legs are a lot stronger. My endurance is a lot better. And I've lost a lot of weight. So this has been a success. And I've been able to hike for 10 to 12 hours a day. So the endurance is definitely better. And so this chapter is over. And then I move back home, back to the job, back to everyday life. And the comeback continues. I still need to get stronger. I need to clean up my eating. I need to develop some routines and systems to keep me strong and healthy and fit. And walking will definitely be one of those components. Walking at least 4 miles a day. And then on the weekend, take one day to hike on the Appalachian Trail for 6 to 8 miles just to maintain. And then just eat whole foods. And that's going to be the biggest challenge, is just eating natural whole foods and not junk food and not snacking at night. So more challenges ahead, but in a different way. I lost 2 of these sporks on the trail, and then I just found this one in the woods. So I guess what comes around goes around. So if you lost this spork and you watch this video, let me know and I'll send it to you. Otherwise, I'm keeping it. And whoever has my sporks, they're all yours. You can see this papery bark. It's called birch bark. And that's how we started the fire last night, using this as the starter tinder. So it catches on fire really easily, and it's a great fire starter. You can see how easily it catches on fire here. Pretty cool. All these plants growing in the little stream are called jewelweed. And if you crush the stems and rub the juice on your poison ivy, it helps cure the poison ivy. I've used it a lot. I even use it on bug bites and things like that. So it's a great plant to know, jewelweed. Only a little bit of food left. What are some things that can change a man for the good? Definitely a girl. If he's in love with her, he's going to want to change and become a better man. Faith in God, that can change a man for sure, profoundly, deeply. And a trail, a long journey, a long adventure, a long trail in nature, where he has time to reflect and look inside. That can change a man. Here is an older birch tree. Let's see how its bark does. Let's just get a little bit of this bark here and let's go burn it and see what happens. Pretty good. I think we could easily get a fire going with that birch bark from that old tree. Flowing with the river. I think that's what we humans need to do, is move like the streams and the river. As long as we're moving, we can stay healthy. Out here on the trail, you basically have to watch every step so you don't trip on a root or a rock, and you're just being mindful of every step you take. However, in society, it's important you watch every thought, because with every thought, it's important because there's so many temptations and so many things that drag you into comfort and traps. There's a lot of traps in modern society. So here we're watching our steps. In modern society, we're watching our thoughts and making sure we're not getting trapped into something we don't want to get into. We have to use more discretion in modern society. I'm on my last 15 minutes on the Appalachian Trail of the Appalachian Comeback. I'm going to be heading into the town of Bennington, Vermont. So I started strong. I'm going to finish strong and take all the lessons that I've learned this past month from the trail and apply them to my everyday life. I hope you've enjoyed the Appalachian Comeback and learned a thing or two or experienced something interesting. And I'll keep on trekking and keep on working on the comeback in different ways. The Appalachian Trail was one way. My worn out feet are in heaven.